Thank you. Thank you. You're too kind. This audience of nobody is too kind. Look, I caught up here because I wanted to tell you a story. It's about Caleb Williams, it's about Lincoln Riley, it's about playing quarterback at Oklahoma. So back in 2018, we're talking about Caleb Williams and what he did. But to understand what that means for Oklahoma, to understand what that means for Caleb Williams, to understand what that means for Lincoln Riley, we got to take you to a conversation that Colin Cowherd had with Lincoln Riley in what looks like a basement in the Fox Sports radio studios, right? It looks like they just kind of shunned Colin out there, and he was going through his Rolodex, and he settled on doing a segment with Lincoln Riley where he could get what I could never get, which is 10 minutes on the phone with Lincoln Riley to ask him the burning questions in my mind. And toward the end of the segment, in February 2019, after he's having conversations about Kyler Murray and about Baker Mayfield, and toward the end of this thing, he even says that he thinks that Texas is, of course, going to be back, and he doesn't see how Oklahoma's going to be able to beat this stacked Texas squad in a Big 12 championship game after just having beat this stacked Texas squad in a Big 12 championship game. Never mind that Texas went 8-5, ended up in the Alamo Bowl. What you need to know about this is the criteria that Lincoln Riley gave to Colin Cowherd about how he recruits his quarterbacks. He said the big arm doesn't matter a whole lot, doesn't feature a ton, though we're used to seeing it. Jalen Hurts had a big arm. Kyler Murray had a big arm. Of course, Baker Mayfield had a big arm, and even Shane Carden back at East Carolina had a big arm. But the thing that they all had in common, the thing that he really stressed, as much as he loves accuracy and it's a big part of it, they have to be accurate with the football, is the guy a winner? Did he win where he was? Now, did he win 43 straight en route to state championships like Kyler Murray? Doesn't matter so much. But if they won more games than they lost, and we're talking about single-digit losses here, and they felt like a better team because of the quarterback, that's the kind of guy that Lincoln Riley has said he wants to recruit. Going back to transfers like Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray and Spencer Rattler, who he recruited out of high school, Tanner Mordecai, who he recruited out of high school, and Chandler Morris, who is joining up another recruit out of high school. And now with Caleb Williams announcing his commitment on July 4th, I felt like this story was prudent. Lincoln Riley's number one criteria for his quarterbacks is the guy a winner? In 2018, in the Washington Catholic Athletic Conference, we're playing for championships here. And you have to understand that in this conference, it's renowned for its athletic talent. More on the basketball side than the football side, but Jelani Jenkins is a great football player. And of course, Markelle Fultz played in this league, as did John Thompson III, as did Chase Young. And we can continue to throw names at you, but you get the point, right? Caleb Williams is of this kind of player. He's playing at Gonzaga College High School against DeMatha in their conference championship. And DeMatha had stretched out to a 20-point lead in this game. Didn't matter. Caleb Williams hits Dean Ingram for a 35-yard touchdown to cut the score to 20-14. Dean Ingram is also Bobby Ingram's son, who was at the time still playing wide receiver for the Baltimore Ravens. Okay. DeMatha is undeterred. They continue to put up points. But so does Gonzaga. And so much so that with 39 seconds left to play, Caleb Williams finds another receiver for a touchdown pass. Feels like the game's going to be put away. And then DeMatha is able to return the ensuing kickoff for a touchdown. Okay? This would take the wind out of almost any team's sails. Every team would say, well, okay, I guess this conference championship is not ours to win. Enter Caleb Williams, who leads his team not just on a game-winning drive, but is able to throw a Hail Mary up that is caught and wins them the championship. We're talking about 3 touchdowns in the final 60 seconds of this game. A game that was so ridiculously wild. A game that could have gone either way for either team that ended up going Caleb Williams' way. Now, as we saw with recruiting and how it functioned 6 months after Lincoln Riley given this interview, not even 6 months, 4 months after Lincoln Riley given this interview to Colin Cowherd, Brock Vandagriff commits to the 2021 class as a 5-star quarterback and one of the best quarterbacks in the class. 6 months after that, He reopens recruitment on January 1st, commits to Georgia on January 16th. What does Lincoln Riley do? He goes looking for another quarterback because what he does is win. 2 months after Brock Vandagriff commits to Georgia, Caleb Williams takes an extended visit to Oklahoma. The COVID hits, the pandemic hits. We're in the middle of an extended dead period in recruiting, the likes of which we've never seen before. But even in that extended dead period of recruiting, Lincoln Riley is able to earn the commitment of a 5-star quarterback and the number 1 quarterback in the 2021 class, a top 10 recruit, in the middle of a pandemic because he, like his quarterbacks, only knows one rule to be great: win. Now we're talking about an Oklahoma team that's top 15 in the country after getting 2 commits in Latrell McCutcheon and Williams. Now we're talking about an Oklahoma that is slowly building towards something great, we think. But I think it's important to keep in mind when we talk about Oklahoma and when we talk about Lincoln Riley and when we talk about quarterbacks, we need to talk about just one thing. Just one. Did you win?